I'm Chef Gabriel Ayala, and right now in the world, we're experiencing something that we've never had during our lifetime. And it's a pandemic that is reaching all parts of the world. And now is the most important time to be able to utilize ingredients that are sought out and are available to everybody. So today we're going to use one of the most known and used staples in the entire world, and that's potatoes. We're going to make some dishes using some of these ingredients that you can find in any supermarket that have a tendency of not run out and have multi-use and multi-functions. And we're going to start off by making hash browns, but I'm going to do it my style. So let's get started. All right, in order to do hash browns, you need potatoes, right? And we're going to do a grater. We're going to take the grater and we're going to pass the potato through the grater. All right, there's one. Let's check and see how we're doing. Actually, I think 2 potatoes is going to work for what we're trying to accomplish right now. You guys can obviously increase the recipe if you want. Let's see. All right. That looks like a good amount. What we're going to do is, when you're working with hash browns, you want to make sure that you season your potatoes, and you want to basically have everything ready before it hits the pan. And the reason why is because all the flavor is going to be incorporated into the potato as it's cooking, so it absorbs it. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of salt. Let me move this over again. Some salt and pepper. And a little Italian seasoning. It looks like a lot, but in reality it's not. It'll get spread evenly within the potatoes, okay? So then you just mix it up. Yeah, let's add a little olive oil to it. And we'll also add some olive oil to the pan that we're going to cook in. As you can see, I've been able to incorporate all the seasoning that look like a lot into the actual potato shavings. Okay? And what you want to do is you want to get about a handful, depending on how large you want to have your hash browns, and then you press it. You squeeze all that excess water out. Okay? And you kind of make it into a ball. And then you put it in your pan. After you put it in your pan, you're going to press it. It's okay if it spreads out a little bit. There's no problem with that because as it's cooking, it'll stick together. All right. All right, for now, actually we'll do 3, so I'll move this one to the side. All right. So as those are cooking, you want it to have a nice temperature to where it doesn't burn it, but it cooks it evenly. And so what you'll also need is a flat spatula or a flat surface. That way you can continue to press it as it cooks. And while those are cooking, we're going to be working on what goes on top. Okay. So in order to make a hash brown eggs Benedict, you're going to need poaching liquid or a poaching water. And you're going to poach the eggs in this liquid. So what you'll need is some vinegar. I like to use apple cider vinegar because I like the flavor of it. So a tiny bit of vinegar and a tiny bit, add a little more, and a tiny bit of salt to the water. They say it's good that your poaching liquid has a decent amount of salt in it because also when you're poaching in it, it also should have flavor. It 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 adds to the taste of whatever it is you're cooking. So you don't want to overdo it, but you don't want to underdo it because then it comes out tasting bland. All right. So I have the poaching liquid. It's almost, you don't want it to be boiling, but you want to see the bubbles at the bottom of the pan. So first part of making a Benedict, you want to have egg yolks. Here I have 3 and a metal or glass bowl. And while that is getting ready over there, you're going to take the egg yolks and you're going to start to do a figure 8, incorporating as much air as possible. Get the liquid going. Get them nice and running. And then you start to warm it up. What I like to do is I like to use where I'm going to poach my eggs as a heat source because you need to warm up the egg yolk as you're making the hollandaise. Do a figure 8 and try to incorporate as much air as you possibly can. Okay, let's get it warmed up again. Take it off the heat. As you can see, it's starting to get frothy, and that's a good consistency. You want to have almost that creamy consistency. So that means you're heading in the right direction. Okay, and then it needs some sort of acid. And what I like to do is I like to take a little bit of the poaching liquid, which is the vinegar, water, and salt, and I add that inside of my egg yolks mixture. And with that, I continue to whisk. Trust me, after this, you're going to have very strong forearms. Okay, so you see that it's getting a little frothy. And at this point, what you want to do is you want to start to incorporate a fat, and that is going to be in the form of butter. You can do clarified butter, but a lot of people don't have the time or want to do the process of clarifying butter, and it's okay to use the butter with the fat. It has to be butter though, it can't be margarine. And then you're slowly going to incorporate a little bit of the melted butter into the bowl. Only a couple drops at a time, and then continue to whisk it. As you can see, it's starting to get a nice frothy and creamy texture. All right, let's check on our hash browns. Continue to press these babies. To get a nice, crunchy hash brown. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, that's a good color on it. You know it's in good shape when it's golden brown and delicious. Oh, that one still needs a little bit of love. We'll leave them cooking some more. Okay. Let's go back to this as we whisk. You see I'm incorporating a lot more air. Let's bring it back to the heat. And let's add a little more butter as we go. And that's pretty much the consistency. You want it to be a little more thicker. You can continue to add butter and a little bit more of that vinegar water to make a little more sauce. But for the most part, you want it to be able to coat the back of a spoon and not fall off. So yeah, I think that's in good shape. We'll add a tiny bit of salt to this. Some cayenne pepper. Let's not overdo it. Okay. And then we'll put that to the side. Right now, what we'll do is we'll poach our eggs. And as you're poaching your eggs, the trick is, in order to get the eggs to wrap around themselves, you want to start to get the water in one direction, right? You want to circulate the water in one motion, so that way the egg incomplete can wrap around itself. And what I like to use is these measuring cups to pour my egg into the poaching liquid. Let me get the temperature up a little bit. And as you can see, it's starting to boil a little. And then I drop my egg. And then you can give it a little spin so that way it wraps around itself. And that's one. We'll let that one poach and then we'll get the other one ready. All right. I can dump that one in at the same time, right next to it. All right, so while that's cooking, let's check on our hash browns. I think I have to turn up the temperature a little bit. Nope, still need a little more love on one side. I don't know where the heat is. Okay, we'll get those nice and crispy. And to plate this up in just a bit, we're gonna need a little ham. People use bacon, ham, Canadian bacon. You can really design it however you want. But in mine, I'll probably use a little bit of bacon and a little bit of ham. You'll need a slotted spoon in order to remove the eggs from the poaching liquid. All right, so once you see that the eggs have pretty much rolled themselves into each other, you're gonna remove it from the poaching liquid and set it to the side. You could go directly on it as you're plating up, but we'll bring it over to the side just for a second. All right, as you can see, it's staying completely together into one piece. All right, and for our hash browns, let's go ahead and do a plate up. I'm gonna warm up some ham because I want mine with ham, but you can put bacon in it. So the potato is cooked. Put that in the middle. Let's get our ham cooking. All right. Put some ham there. And then what I do is I will take a little bit of baby leaf spinach. You can put whatever you want, but I'm going to use baby leaf spinach. And all these ingredients are super affordable. You can find them in your local supermarkets, and they last a long time. That's the beauty of it. They last a decent while, and they have multi-functions. And in this case, the main star is the potato, but again, it's ingredients that can be utilized in all other types of dishes as well. It doesn't require to be only for this one. And then what I'll do here is now take the poached egg, put it on top of the spinach, grab my hollandaise, and call it a wrap. And that is a hash browns eggs Benedict. Here we go. Enjoy.